We all studied history in school, particularly the famous Spanish conquistadors like Hernán Cortés and their battles with the Aztecs. We were taught that the Aztecs were the dominant rulers of Mexico, defeating other tribes and exacting tribute from them. But what if I told you that much of what we know about the Aztecs isn't entirely true? The Aztecs were not the original rulers of central Mexico. In fact, they were relative newcomers, arriving in the region only about 300 years before the Spanish conquest. In the early 1500s, when the Spanish arrived, the Aztecs weren't the only ones living in Mexico. One key figure who sheds light on this forgotten history is Friar Diego Duran, a missionary who moved to Mexico in 1542 at the age of 5. Duran dedicated his life to studying pre-Hispanic history, language, and traditions. His work, which spans over 78 chapters, focuses on the true origins of the Aztecs and other ancient tribes in Mexico. Duran gathered information from indigenous elders and ancient pictorial manuscripts, documenting the stories passed down orally. These tribes carefully preserved their history, passing it down without distortion. According to Duran's research, 6 tribes, including the Aztecs, arrived in Mexico around 900 AD from a place called Aztlan, near modern-day Florida. Could these tribes be connected to the legendary lost continent of Atlantis? It's a mystery we may never fully solve. The Aztecs were just one of the tribes that arrived in the region around 1200 AD, a full 300 years after the first wave of settlers. But when they arrived, they were not alone. The land was already inhabited by 2 distinct groups, the Chichimecs in the west and the Quinam in the east. The Chichimecs, known for their tall stature, are believed to have descendants today in the Huichol and Cora tribes. But when these newcomers arrived, they weren't welcomed. They engaged in bloody battles to take control of the land. The Chichimecs fought fiercely, but were ultimately pushed into the mountains to escape annihilation. The Quinam were known for their incredible height, some standing 7 to 8 feet tall. They fought valiantly to defend their land, but many were slaughtered or driven to jump from cliffs rather than be captured. In the 1500s, explorers like Francisco Coronado encountered tribes of giants. The Seri tribe, discovered on an island off the coast of Sonora, were described as towering over the Spaniards, some reaching incredible heights. One tribe, the Cocapa, was so strong that one of their men effortlessly lifted a large log that 6 Spaniards could not budge. Bernardino de Sahagún, a 16th-century Spanish historian, wrote about these giants of Quinamaitan. He even believed they were responsible for building Teotihuacan and Cholula, 2 of Mexico's most famous ancient cities. The mystery deepened in the 1930s when explorer Paxton Haynes discovered mummified bodies in the Copper Canyon area of northern Mexico. These mummies, measuring between 7 to 8 feet tall, all had blonde hair. But who were they? And why were they so different from the other tribes? Were these giant tribes the remnants of a forgotten civilization? Could they be connected to ancient myths? The evidence of giants in Mexico raises more questions than answers, and it's a history we may never fully understand. The giants of Mexico may be lost to time, but their story lives on in the hidden corners of history, waiting to be uncovered. What other mysteries lie buried beneath the surface? Stay tuned to find out. Subscribe for more amazing historical mysteries.